what's going on? Hey, what's going on? It's Stokely from Sauce on Dulé. Let me see if I can do a recording right now, right? I haven't been recording as of normally. And but fortunately I've been able to get content by speaking to different guests. And one there's a few things that are converging, you know, like just like the whole stress management and sleep. Just about everybody recommends stress management and sleep. Positive mindset, positive thinking, not speaking negative about yourself. Everybody's kind of converging towards that also. You know, staying away from ultra processed foods and, you know, added sugars and stuff like that. That's everybody's converging on that. Omega-3s are good for the brain, and, you know, everybody's converging on that. Strength training and exercise helps your brain and increases your longevity and your health span and your lifespan and your quality of life. Everybody's converging on that. But you know, and I'm probably forgetting a few things, you know. There's some economic things, but let's not get into that too much. I guess, you know, basically less stuff is good for your brain and good for your pockets. Less stuff. Stop buying stuff. You know, that's a thing that's converging also. But I don't think I've ever spoken to anybody on that subject per se. Minimalism, right? So, good social networks. You know, a good social network and is important for your health also. Reading. You know, you're still using your brain, learning things. I mean, you know, a lot of it starts in the mind. Then you got to put the right things in your body. You know, and then you got to move your body. Right mindset. Put the right things in your body. Move your body. And then rest your body, right? And then, you know, interact with good people, positive people. You know, be mindful of what you're thinking about, so that you don't reach a point where you're self-medicating or deadening yourself, or you're engaging in so much escapism that you become inefficient, you become dependent, you become addicted, or whatever the case may be. So what's recently now been a recurring theme or idea is detoxification. So I guess now that we have the right stuff in our body, we're putting the right stuff in our body, now we got to try to get the bad stuff out. So I've spoken to Eddie Stone, who has a product whose main ingredient is a zeolite, and zeolite removes heavy metals and maybe removes other toxins also. I've spoken to Francois Vix, who has a product that contains superoxide dismutase. And superoxide dismutase is an antioxidant that basically stabilizes the molecules in your body, therefore stabilizing the cells, you know, and stabilizing your DNA and protecting your DNA. I also spoke to Chris Fryer, or she calls herself New Bio Chris. I maybe didn't pronounce her last name correctly. Who promotes another product. I can't remember the name right now. I just spoke to her. But she produces a product that contains a multitude of antioxidants, not just which doesn't include superoxide dismutase, but a whole bunch of other antioxidants that are based on vitamins and minerals that are basically plant sourced. right? It's basically, from my limited understanding, a multivitamin that contains basically concentrated antioxidants that allows you to consume a significant amount of antioxidants without having to eat 10 pomegranates and a whole bag of blueberries. And then myself, I did my own digging on killing the bad gut bacteria, which foods like curcumin, ginger, garlic, and some other ones. You got to check out my episode where I say reducing big C risk. You got to check out my other episode called CRISPR Chimera, where I'm talking about basically protecting your DNA from free radicals and protecting your DNA from modification via bacteria and inflammation. Because in the episode CRISPR Chimera, I talk about how CRISPR technology works. CRISPR technology works by using bacteria to modify DNA. And then the question arose to me, what are the natural, or what are the regularly occurring common ways that our DNA gets modified? And when your DNA is modified, we start talking about the big C word, right? Anyhow, so a few of those ways are through oxidative stress, which is the department of Nubio Chris and the department of Francois Vicks, right? The antioxidants. Then you have the bacteria, which I haven't spoke to anyone yet about getting the bad bacteria out, but we can do that ourselves with the cayenne pepper, the curcumin, the cloves, garlic, ginger, if I didn't already said it, and the curcumin, I think, is inside turmeric already, so I don't need to say turmeric again, right? So protecting your DNA, purifying the body, cleaning the body out, getting rid of the bad bacteria using all of these herbs and spices, stabilizing those free radicals, because it's almost like from my limited understanding, it's almost like a chain reaction. This molecule gets modified, steals an electron from somewhere or loses an electron. So that electron has to come from somewhere else. Somebody else loses an electron. Come from somewhere else. Somebody else loses an electron. So it's a chain reaction, right, of a deficit of electrons or whatever, and that can result in modifying your DNA, right? And once the DNA is modified and then it starts to replicate, then you have a tumor, or you have some kind of big C word situation starts to manifest in your body. So what I see converging, though, is that some of those foods that are antioxidants, that protect you from free radicals, are the blueberries, and those are important to health span, brain function, lifespan. Blueberries not necessarily associated with detoxification per se. I'm kind of getting mixed up now. I'm not proving my point, but I would say that detoxing is another is the next thing that I'm hearing about. Is the next thing that I'm hearing about, and I'm getting to. I think is a consciousness that's surrounding us all right now when it comes to health. I forgot also, cooking your food at high temperatures. I just did an episode on cooking your food at high temperatures. It's not healthy because it introduces more free radicals. You know? So this free radical thing, actually, yeah, so it's not really necessarily about detox, but the free radical contribution to sickness is significant. Doesn't really apply to Eddie Stone, but it applies to Francois Vicks and it applies to New Bio Chris, right? And it applies to CRISPR technology in the sense that CRISPR technology uses bacteria to modify DNA. Free radicals can mess up your DNA. That triggered me to look into how do we protect our DNA, and one way we protect our DNA is to consume antioxidant foods. Anyhow, so I didn't really prove my point. So let's change the goal of what we talk about and talk about the antioxidants. So when I was talking to New Bio Chris, she was really enthused, and she was really enthused, and she sees free radicals everywhere. Everywhere she looks, she sees conditions caused by free radicals. And during the time I was trying to, do a little editing on the video that we did, and I think I forgot to edit out something. But hey, some event that was taking place in Austin, Texas. The date changed to the 30th, but when people watch the video, they're not going to watch it on the 30th. They're going to watch it tomorrow, next week. They're in different parts of the country. They're going to watch it 2-3 years from now. The date of the event isn't really that important because I have 8 subscribers on my YouTube, and the majority of my listeners are in Indonesia, so shout out to Indonesia. No, the majority of my listeners outside of America are in Indonesia. So shout out to Indonesia, shout out to America, shout out to the UK, shout out to America Samoa, shout out to everybody who's listening. Anyhow, back to what we're saying. So it's really antioxidants. She's right. And I wasn't even paying attention to that, the whole free radicals portion, and thinking and remembering that our bodies are electrical. Our bodies are electrical. Our heart creates a spark, according to Yaki Awaken. Our neurons work with electricity. So it only makes sense that the proper flow of electrons, the proper, distribution, adhesion, the proper function of everything has to be right. You know what I mean? Cells need to be in a stable state unless we want to destroy them. Your body has its own free radical generating systems, from my limited understanding, also when it's ready to destroy something. You know what I mean? When they want to shut something down or destroy a cell or whatever, probably. But if our immune system is overwhelmed trying to destroy this, trying to destroy that, you know what I mean? And some of these things are being integrated into our body because our DNA has been modified and the body's attacking itself. Well, it makes sense. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to me that New Bio Chris sees free radicals everywhere. I can see it now. Even when I was looking up images from research or whatever sites to use in the video, guess what I saw? free radicals can contribute to the instance or the condition called vitiligo, which is what Francois Vicks was talking about. And Francois Vicks' product, superoxide dismutase, or the name brand of his product is Glycodin. His Glycodin product is used to treat vitiligo. So that means that vitiligo, and I'm making a stretch, you know I'm not a doctor. Vitiligo is an electrical issue at the cell level. It's an electrical issue in our I think one of the conditions he's talking about was melasma, which I don't know what it is. Melasma, okay? But let me just stop right here because I don't know what I'm saying. So his product treats vitiligo. When I was looking at conditions that are caused by free radicals, vitiligo is one of those conditions. Now, there's a multitude of things that it triggers, or illnesses that it triggers, that causes, or conditions that it causes. But I don't remember them all. I didn't make a list. I thank you so much, everybody, for listening. I gotta my Spotify Wrapped was very encouraging at the end of 2025. It said that I had a significant amount of growth in 2025. I had among there's probably 500,000 to 1 million podcasts on the internet. On the internet, I think last time I checked it was like 500,000, but I would think that it's probably more. But let's say there's 500,000, right? Let's say that's a low number. According to them, I'm growing faster than 70% of those other podcasts, even with the small amount of listeners that I have, which is impressive, I guess, or encouraging. This is my sixth. This is about to be my 6th year, basically, I guess. Yeah, it's like my 6th year, 6th season. And I've learned a lot, but I haven't retained a lot. You know, I learn things and I don't necessarily retain the information, but keeping it for posterity. Maybe somebody else will learn and somebody will retain it, or somebody will help somebody else. You know, I don't know. Most of 2025, I was speaking about reproductive health, men's reproductive health, as it pertains to me directly. And you know what? Everything converges. Okay, so this is another thing that converges, right? One of the things that is, there's a few things that are antioxidants that I have been looking into regarding male reproductive health and virility and all of that. One of them is CoQ10. CoQ10 is an antioxidant. And I made the connection between CoQ10, angina, and Viagra. Right? Now, CoQ10 is not Viagra, but Viagra was developed to treat angina, and CoQ10 is a holistic realm, kind of holistic, basically, treatment for angina. They're both kind of related to the same issue, kind of. Viagra was discovered in the attempt to develop that. Now, the other day, I read an article where a gentleman took tadalafil. I'm not pronouncing the word right. Remember, Dr. Elliot Justin says he takes a 5 milligram pill of tadalafil every day, and it's like Viagra, okay? But I think it's a low dosage. So there's a man in India that took a 5 milligram daily dosage of tadalafil, and he ate, I I think it was either grapefruit or pomegranate, and it caused him to have an erection lasting more than 4 hours. Now, if you have an erection lasting more than 4 hours, you have to seek medical treatment, because it can hurt you. It can damage you. So when you look up the things that should not be consumed with tadalafil or Viagra or Cialis or Levitra or any of those things, grapefruits and pomegranates fall into that category. Now, when you talk anecdotally somewhat about men's sexual health, pomegranates are always, well, not always, pomegranates come up in the conversation. Guess what? Pomegranates are antioxidant foods. Pomegranates are an antioxidant food. So CoQ10 is an antioxidant. Pomegranate is an antioxidant. I haven't done the research to determine whether Viagra, tadalafil, Levitra, Cialis are antioxidants. I don't know. Right? So it's kind of come full circle with the whole antioxidant thing. With the pomegranates. I don't know about grapefruit. I was lauding over grapefruit back in 2024. I was celebrating grapefruit in 2024. But I don't know why I was inspired by grapefruit. I think grapefruit is good for digestion, breaking up oxalates and all kind of different stuff like that. But the thing about it is, okay, so the connection with grapefruit and pomegranate is that it makes the tadalafil more bioavailable and causes it to circulate in the bloodstream for longer than it's designed for. It makes it circulate in the body for longer than it's designed for. So that's their explanation of it, right? That's their explanation of it. But I'm just saying, pomegranate is an antioxidant. So why aren't these other foods causing that? You know? So anyhow, I thank you so much for listening. I hope my cars are making too much noise. You know, my exhaust system is like not where it's supposed to be. But you know, we always got to talk about the car a little bit. I thank everybody for listening back in 2025. I thank whoever's still listening now. I haven't really been publishing as much. You know, the thing about it, you know, I don't want to be irresponsible. I don't want to be lazy. I may be doing both of those things. But I want everybody to forgive themselves and move forward to trying to do better. Don't feel like you're condemned. Don't feel like it's over, like you're done. I mean, it might be over for some unhealthy, negative, destructive mindsets, thought patterns, behaviors, diets. Yeah, it might be over for that, but it's not over for you. It's not over for you. We metamorphosize, just like, if that's a word. We can metamorphosize. I'm gonna use that word. I'm gonna make up a word then, right? Like a caterpillar. You know? It just takes that mind change. And sometimes we get pulled back into our old mindset. But, you know, I don't know. Mind state. You know what? They say words have meanings, right? Like set. Like when you set something, it doesn't move. When something is in a state, well, it can change. You can change states. I think you can change states, yeah. But set? No, you're not really. Like you set a ring inside. You set a diamond inside a ring, right? You set concrete. Like after you set it, set it and forget it, right? But state, okay. So let's say mind state. I'm being weird right now, right? But this is a woo-woo. This is a woo-woo podcast, okay? So be ready for weird stuff. So Mind state. We're going to change the state. We're going to change the phase. We're going to change the state. We're going to change from liquid to solid to gas, back and forth if necessary. You know, it's okay. Oh, the cops stopped them to take the snow off the top of their car. So we're going to change our mind state. We're going to change we can change our state of mind. We can change our state of mind. I'm in a New York state of mind. Whoa, I don't know. So, antioxidants, big deal. Nubio Chris is right. Francois Vicks, he's onto something. Francois Vicks's products are, I don't want to say narrow, I don't want to say anything bad, are basically, he's specializing in certain areas. He's specializing in cosmetics. He's specializing in treatment for vitiligo and getting medical approval for certain, which he I think Johns Hopkins is using some of his stuff right now. So he's specializing in that area. Nubio Chris is more on a daily supplement situation, and she's testified that she sees skin healing and anti-aging benefits of antioxidants. I got an interview that I hope to publish soon enough with Jody Scott from Good Goo, from I think that's the name of the company. Green Goo, and that one should be pretty informative regarding, well, a little bit informative because I didn't really ask good questions, but she was a great subject, and she was a great, she educated me a lot, but I think I didn't ask the right questions, you know. But I forgive myself, and I'll move forward, and I'm going to keep learning. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself and move forward. Listen, don't beat yourself up. That's not going to help you do anything. When you beat yourself up, you want to self-medicate. When you beat yourself up, you want to treat yourself. But look at it as a journey and a learning experience, and look at it as it's just an event, a bump in the road that you're going to surmount, if that's the right word, right? You're going to get over it. You're going to get over it. You'll survive. Make sure that you survive. You will survive. I will survive. I know I'll stay alive. So that's it. You know, make it to the next day. You do what you got to do. You know, forgive yourself. Listen, be optimistic in everything. Constant optimist. You know, I had a chance to get to know one of my co-workers, and I asked him why is he so optimistic, and he said he doesn't even know. But when he told me about his life, I didn't see anything to be really optimistic about, at least in his past. And I mean, we're not that close enough that he's going to tell me everything about his past, but to me, his past was pretty difficult. But now he's like, you know, he's shining. From what I know of him, he's a good person, optimistic, positive guy, helpful, you know, good father and a husband, and married his high school sweetheart, you know what I'm saying? Young guy, younger than me. And I think that's his, even though he just says he doesn't know where his optimism comes from, he's resilient. Oh, well, you know what? I kind of know where it comes from. His mother is pretty strong. His mother overcame a lot. I don't know if he looks at it like that, though, but he's pretty strong. But I'm at my destination now. And I guess in closing, I want to say antioxidants are very important, just as important as Nubio Chris says it is. It's something to consider. Avoiding free radicals, avoiding pollutants, avoiding things that mess with the electronics of your body. You know, integrating more foods that will contribute to the proper electrical function. Electronic means electrical and motronic. That's what I think it means. So that there's motors and electrical stuff, but yeah, I guess you could say you could say electronic, I guess so, because our body has parts that move in it. So there's motors, there's motor skills, motion, and all of that taking place. So it makes sense. He's parking in the spot. He's parking. He's standing in the spot. Let me park next to the boss. But let's park next to the bosses. The corporate attorney and the other guy who I don't know what he does. So hey, I thank you for listening. I don't know if I said anything. The antioxidants are important. The antioxidants even connect back to my fascination, my bias, my fascination with male virility and what do you call it? Yeah, virility. Right? The antioxidants even connect to that. So it's good to see a lot of people talking about health, and I'm learning about health, and the only thing I want to close with is that the number one thing though is your mindset, and you are sufficient. You have everything. You don't need anything external of you. You don't need to buy pills. You don't need to do that. Think positive. Everything comes after that. The Christians say, seek first the kingdom of God and all things shall be added. That's how I remember it, right? So first you got to get your mind right, your intention right, your spiritual overself, the intangible consciousness, the part that nobody can touch, the part that you can't even touch really, but you control it. The energy that you put out, the consciousness that you put out, the vibes that you put out, the thoughts, right? These are intangible, but they are acting on you physically. So seek first to get that right. Get that right by thinking positive, being optimistic, focusing on what you want, not what you don't want. Thinking good things, wishing good things. And it really helps. It really helps. I mean, it's not gonna help in every case. You know what I mean? Like, nothing is absolute. It's not like somebody's holding a gun to you, and you're gonna, magically use your mind to make them put it down or whatever the case may be. You might be able to, but that hasn't been revealed to me as yet. But first you got to get that right, that over self right. So sometimes you do gotta. There's things that you got to do on the physical plane to help facilitate that. And I was reading a book called Remote Viewing Secrets. I was trying to read about remote viewing because I thought that the guy would give some kind of insight as to how to control your mind, how to eat the right foods, and how to discipline your mind to the level where you can encourage that over self to take care of yourself. I'm not concerned with really remote viewing of anything or stuff like that, but I gotta say that the book wasn't really helpful, but it still gave me some things to think about. I want to recover something by saying that, or I want to say something positive about the book, but I don't have anything positive really to say about it. But yeah, controlling that over self and the thought patterns is really gonna help you to sustain through all kind of stuff. And if I would add one more recurring theme that's coming to mind, is don't feel insufficient. Don't feel inadequate. As soon as you feel insufficient or inadequate, that's when the negative thoughts come in, and that's when you can get caught up. But hey, thank you so much for listening. Bang.